Mike couldn't have imagined that this day could get any worse. It was bad enough that he had been invited to their office today, where they handed him an envelope and told him the bad news. And now he had to go home and break the news to his wife, Michelle. They had been married for 3 years, right out of college, and were just now starting their careers. They were both making decent money, and yet Mike couldn't get. Imagine how that would affect their financial situation. All the way home, Mike was immersed in his own thoughts, barely aware of what was going on around him when his phone rang. Hello? Hi, honey. Are you okay? You don't sound so good. Sorry, I've had a rough day. I'll tell you all about it when I get home. Okay, I have something to tell you too. Oh, and I forgot to warn you. My parents are coming over for dinner tonight. I'll see you at home, love you. Love you too. When the call ended, Mike groaned. He liked Michelle's parents, but the last thing he wanted to do was give her the bad news in front of her parents. On the other hand, though, if you think about it that way, maybe their presence wasn't such a bad thing. They've been through a lot together over the years, so maybe they could help convince Michelle that this was just another obstacle, and that by working together, they could find a way to deal with it. Mike didn't want to spoil everyone's dinner, but decided it was best to break the bad news as soon as they got home. That way, they would have enough time to discuss everything and try to work out a plan of further action. Mike, holding the envelope in his hand, walked through the door of their little apartment and saw Michelle and her parents, Tom and Mary Beth, sitting on the couch waiting for him to return. Michelle had the widest smile on her face as she said, holding her mother's hand, and it pained him to know that he would cause her smile to turn to tears. Honey, I know you've had a hard day, but I have something important to tell you, Michelle said as soon as he crossed the threshold. Since you and I have been trying to have a baby for the past 10 months, without success, my mom and I decided to go to a fertility doctor today. Then they took some blood from me to run some tests. While we talked to the doctor, after a while, the nurse came back and gave the test results to the doctor. After reviewing them, he said that there was nothing he could do to help me at the moment, because I am already pregnant. Mike stared at Michelle in silence for a minute, digesting what she had just told him. When her words reached him, tears streamed down his face. Michelle, thinking that Mike was shocked by the news, jumped up to hug him, but immediately recoiled in horror when he barked in her face. Don't talk to me. Tom and Mary Beth stared at Mike in bewilderment. They had never seen him like that before. Mike, what happened? I don't understand anything. This is what we've been waiting for. Isn't it what you wanted? What did I want? This is definitely not what I wanted. I wanted to have children with the woman I love most in the world. Raise them and then grow old together, surrounded by family and friends. That's what I wanted. Michelle could barely hold back the tears. What are you talking about? We're going to have a baby anyway, and you and I are going to grow old together. No, you're the one having a baby. Not us, Mike spat out venomously. Have you already forgotten that I had an appointment today? Too, and that I also had to go to a fertility doctor to get advice on your pregnancy? But instead, he said in a shaky voice, lifting the envelope he was holding above his head, before tossing it on the coffee table. This is what I got, a shitty piece of paper that took away all my hopes and dreams. Since no one else said a word, Tom asked, What is it, Mike? The results of today's examination, and looking at Michelle with eyes full of hatred, he added, I'm sterile.